Just a little bit early. That's okay. Just setting everything up. Slurp of the coffee. Yeah, seems about right. Isn't it? Yeah, cool. Right, let's grab ourselves a nice new brush. So, I think we've all had a smashing week. Just sorting the new brush out. It's got the straggly hair. I'll sort them out right from the start. Right. So, we'll say this again in a minute. Tonight we are using front rank from Griffin Beast. WRPK 15. Mix Dismounted Men at Arms, War of the Roses. I'm going to paint these up for Saga Age of Chivalry. Although I'm using for other stuff. And you're probably going to need 4 of these rather than 6, because these are going to be like the half guard. I'll probably sell this again in a minute when tonight's live. This is more for the guys watching it tomorrow. So, yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, so it's going to be for Age of Chivalry. You probably need 4 of these, but I thought because these come in packs of 6, they have done Saga ones as well. This is the front rank pack, which is £10, I believe, for 6. But you don't get the Saga bases with these. So, horses for courses. And I know they've got the packs made up now for Saga, so that's cool. I've not got my copy of the rules yet, so I couldn't really decide what warband I'm doing yet. So I'm going to kind of, I've looked on the website. These are War of the Roses, but in fairness, you could use them for 100-Year War. Just paint them up slightly different. Sorry, Dr. Bob, for saying that, but you know, if it's Saga, it's Saga. Right, so let's get cracking. Enough chat. Make sure my light is in the right place. So not a lot of flesh to do on these ones. Let's pop some flesh on first. Bit of a visit to the matte medium. I'm just gonna get some flesh in. A tiny little bit of flesh we're gonna have to paint. So here we are again. Can't wait for the summer. So it's, like I say, it's a sunny summer evening. But as I look out the window, it's very dark out there. So yeah, just laying on some. This is the, I had it on the palette already, the moonstone skin. Hola. How are we doing today? Let's get a little bit of flesh in the eye slit as well. I'm going to go back over that with our shade. So, let's just shoot someone out of the main computer. Just trying to restart something or other. No, we don't want it to do that at the moment. Okay. Yes, the main ones on these, when you're doing the flesh, is watch out because You can see their chin on some of these helms, but also be careful because there's a like a leather strappy bit. Yeah, good, good. As you see, we're into the front rank stuff again for Saga Age of Magic. As I was just saying before you appeared, mate. I started slightly early. I'm going to do more colours, so these are going to be more War of the Rosy than anything else, but I'm going to keep it kind of generic, so because I've not decided what warband I'm going to do for chivalry yet, so I can kind of just make them look however I fit, really, as that can be applied to any miniature, really, but okay. Yeah, it's quite a nice little pack. This is the, I'll say this is the just the front rank blister, which I believe it was £10 when I picked it up. I'm not sure if they went up because obviously the cost of metal keeps going sky high. I think they were doing a deal. If you bought so many packs, you get so much off. Best check the Griffin Beast website for that, really. I'd hate to get one wrong and get told off by someone. But I know that for Saga, when you really need the 4, but I thought, well, I might as well paint the other 2 whilst I was here. Next, going to lay down some metal, so we use our gun metal. Ah, bonjour! So we're doing the dismounted men at arms for Age of Chivalry, mate. I'm going to go with a quite generic look to these ones, so they can use. Because I say I've not got my book yet, so I couldn't really pick out a particular warband. They are crackers, aren't they? I think that's the good thing about this Age of Chivalry. There is a lot of stuff. If you keep the paint jobs quite, I was going to say basic, more sort of generic, I suppose is a better word. You're going to get away with using them more for more than one warband, as it were. I say we've grabbed the front rank pack for this rather than the Saga. So we're getting 6 miniatures instead of 4, but we're getting no bases. But hey, you're going to want more than 4 half guard, aren't you? I usually buy when I'm doing it, I usually get the 4-point starter box and then just add on to there. Kind of, it always works out. You at least get like the Warlord for free. So I've thinned this gunmetal down a little bit in the bottle, so the bottle was as soon as I can get, and there's half of it left in there, I start kind of every so often it tends to gam up quite quick metallic, so I tend to drop a bit of medium in there every so often, not too much, just to keep it all happily flowing along. Which means I have to put less of it on the, because I put this into a dry palette rather than a wet palette. You don't want to put your italics on a wet palette because you're asking for trouble there. Yeah, I mean, I was using so I use the army paint stuff. And I run out of papers, and I've swapped to these ones, red grass. You don't get the sponge like you do, but every so often I'll buy the army painted one. But I think I like the red grass paper slightly better. I've got they brought the new army paint one out, which is the bigger one in it, but I don't want a bigger one. Yeah, I mean, for years and years I've stuck to the army painted ones, which are fine. I think it was Derek at Big Battles in Cirencester when I was doing one last year. I'd forgotten to bring a sheet with me, and he gave me one of those, and I kind of remembered it last time I had to order some up, so I thought, I'll give them a go. I think they're slightly cheaper, but then again, you don't get the sponge in them, so but they last a long time, those sponges anyway. Just gonna lay down, because there is, you get all fancy with this armour in a bit when it's all dried out. Okay. Yeah. It's another meaty from Bash Metal Maniac. Obviously, we've done our usual undercoat of Vallejo black with a Vallejo grey Zenithal. And the usual basing stuff is the Pabio Pomace, neutral coloured one. Bases I got from Gripping Beasts because they sell them separate as well, because they're just the Renendra green placky ones. So I think that's up to date on what we're using tonight. So has everyone had a good week? Went sneaky hobbying in. Did your minis arrive okay, Rich? Did they arrive today? Or are they due tomorrow? I can't remember. Can't remember what day it is. I can't remember when I posted them off. I might actually put some colour on this lid, but yeah, I thought so. That was me being all excitable. I lose track. Once I posted them off, that's it. I've lost track of where everything's got to be written down. And there are quicker ways, again, of doing this. Nice. Don't forget those eyes, though, Rich. And yeah, thanks for the sending the mohawk pictures as well, mate. Excellent. Oh, well done. Gotta love a bit of Nick Lund. I do like painting orcs. They are fun. It was legend. I think legendary. I think the word springs to mind, Rich. Awesome. Magnificent. Just add a little bit of medium into the brush there. Make sure the brush doesn't dry out. Equally, if you don't want to do that, you could just wash your brush out. Either or. When metallic starts drying in there, it's a bit of a nightmare. I'm using one of the older brushes. The tip's already gone on. Because metallic paint ruins your brushes. I couldn't see anything that was blackmailable, in fairness. He just looked like an awesome 80s punk bass player. Again, just this is the bit you can save. But I mean, you could save time doing this differently. So you could, instead of Xenophore highlighting here, you could have highlighted them in underbased them in silver. I've done that before if I've had a lot to paint. Put this through the airbrush and just, or even black based them and then done the metal layer with the airbrush. It's quite quick. Or you could even black base and then kind of almost like overbrush them with the metal. But in fairness, I do like building up my shading values. So I like that to put in this metal on, and then we can decide with the black, dark tone, how kind of dark we want the metal to look. And I think that works best doing it this way. But if you're painting numbers and you're in a rush, it's fairly quick to paint them like this anyway. But if you want to go even quicker, the army paint has got speed paint. What's the one? It's a bit like the old chainmail. Broadsword silver, I think it is. It goes on very much like the old, if you've used the old Citadel paints, the old chainmail in the round pot, that'll age you. It had that sort of very dark look to it. It's very similar paint to that. Again, you don't have to. I try and be careful about where I get this, but in fairness, because we're just hitting it with this gunmetal early, if a little bit goes over some of that strapping or stuff, the brown's dark enough to cover it up. So, but as ever, stay as neat and tidy as you can. The less you've got to tidy up, the better. The Beastie Boys are neck deep in the age of chivalry. Apparently, it's flown out this one. So they've been busy beasties. Which is good. Saw a picture of some guys playing it the other day with the cannon on the table. I did paint one for the book, I think. Was it cannon? I can't remember. Oh no, that might be in the sword point book. Yes, it's they've sold. I don't think they're sold out yet, but it was saying that they're not going to have a lot left to send to other retailers. So I think if you haven't got a copy, get one sooner rather than later. Yeah, that's all pretty good. It wouldn't be surprised, but I know uh, Darren said that the initial orders were all out, but they were getting lots and lots of orders, and they were covering the orders, but they didn't know how. As I said, they didn't know how much they'd have to send out to other retailers. So I think at some point that will turn into, oh my god. It's nice to see nice guys doing well. I mean, they are really decent blokes, and they really care about the game. They all play the games. Um, and this, as I said, they sponsor us here. And make sure that we got lots of pretty toys to look at and support the channel. They've supported it right from the start. So I'm probably, I say, I'm probably a little bit biased when I talk, but hey, I think that's fairly. I don't mind any secret of the fact that the beasties send me these and for you guys to look at. So, evening, Ben. How goes it? Hmm. See, when you put that, right, all I can think is orcs. Daka, 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 daka. So not orcs at all, then, technically. I say, thrust forward again into the age of chivalry. Tonight I'm going to paint these in I'm calling it a generic style War of the Roses, so they could also be used for other stuff, which I think is totally acceptable in Saga Age of Chivalry. It's probably not if you were doing something mega historical. But these are cracky, as you said, these are cracky miniatures, so yeah. Just getting all the. We did all the flesh first because that obviously would take a long time on these miniatures. Sorry if I'm holding these a bit weird, but I got my camera in a different place tonight and it's getting in the way slightly. But I don't want to muck around with it because it's the second week in a row, touch wood, that the frame has gone the right way. I think they must have sorted out what their end what was going on, because I'm doing exactly the same things I was, but it seems to be working. So hurrah for YouTube for sorting their problem out. I think this is my favourite out of the pack, this guy with the big tabard on. It's probably because I get to paint lots of fun things on the tabard, I suppose. Yeah, I'm intending on picking up the 4-point start set, I think, and getting the book and going right through it again. So I'll probably do a series of videos on that. So gonna be groovy. It doesn't it? Yeah, so yeah, these guys are pretty cool, aren't they? For those that weren't here earlier, I shall grab the pack in a minute so you get the code for the pack. I believe it's a £10 pack, this one, from the front rank range. But as I said, you don't get the renderer bases, and there's 6 rather than 4. Depends if you want extra half guard, I think. But I've not checked the rules yet. Sometimes you can buy half a point of half guard, can't you? Or you could buy a couple of packs and have 3 points of half guard. Or you could just enjoy painting them and stick them on your shelf. All these things can and will pass, he says as the coffee kicks in. Right, let's wash that brush out a sec. I was going to grab the packet and go for the code again. There we go, WRPK15. But I said there's a different code on the Saga one. I was going to say an artist in violence. You beat me to it. An artist of war. Warg. Oh, now I'm looking at the camera because it's in a different place. Sorry, guys. So next we're going to go for... I usually try and steady this. I should knock it again. Crusader skin. We shouldn't need much of it because there's not a lot of skin to shade. Get my crapped up brush again. The reason I'm doing it though is I've put flesh down the eye slit, so if you drop a bit of this in there. Oh no! It's so much better than their new flesh washes. Although they've just done another one with John Blanche, haven't they? And I believe they're bringing his flesh wash into the range as well. I picked up some of the old Army Painter flesh wash because I don't like the new brown based one. I like the more ready looking one. They even got rid of the mid brown as well. That was the next thing to it, but this does work very, very well. Yeah, but it wouldn't be flesh coloured then, would it? It'd be awful, like a Nurgle. No. I was looking at the colours earlier. Some of them look really good. I don't know if having the whole complete entire rest of the range, whether I'm going to go out and rush out to buy them, but certainly if I didn't have those colours, say Whiteland Flesh Shade from GW is probably a good replacement for it if you can't get the others. But I grabbed the old flesh wash, which is good. Okay. So we don't want to do our black wash yet because we're going to wait for this base coat to really, really dry completely before we do anything else there. So let's pick out some reds. I'm going to start with Abomination Gore, which is an old paint. It's not a Fanatics, but I like it. So I went and bought myself about 5 of them. Okay, so we're gonna spread the colours around. Missed the back of his leg with gun. Hang on a minute. Do that now. Sorry about that. Okay, let's move him back down the line a sec. So we're gonna have a good old-fashioned quarter. The old red, the old favourite red and blue, shall we? This one. Let's now thin it out with a bit of medium. Okay. This just gives us a nice base for our red colour. Just thinned down with the medium. got like a big fat old sleeve going on there. So what we do is we cut it off there. There's that front bit blue, the back bit of it red. There we go. You could even quarter that again if you want to be really fancy pants. Or you could have them one colour, whatever you feel that's cool. Go raw of cool. A bit on his arm there. So just clean that off quick. All I did there, wash and brush out the red. Get some water on board. Wash it off. So I'm not looking for massive coverage here, we're just looking for enough coverage to start the process. There we go. And this side will have the front half of the sleeve red. Again, it's a great opportunity to practice your brush control and your freehand. This kind of War of the Roses, 100 Years, all that sort of thing. Because, like, you got such good reference pictures online. Well, and so many books, like The Age of Chivalry. That's red, so it's going to be red this side. Yeah, so it's red there. It's going to be blue there. And some of this simple sort of quartering or half, doing half and half, it looks so cool. You get a lot of bang for your cool buck on some very simple stuff. There we go. So we're doing quarter. We won't use any red on him. You got red on you. We're gonna do all his level work, I think, in red. So I'm gonna quickly nip round. Pick it out with this, and then just be a quick dot with the red, the bright red, to highlight it out. Hmm. They keep it neat. I'm going to hit the armor with some dark tone in a minute. So won't affect us too much on this red, because obviously we're not using the brightest colour. So I think we'll do the scabbard in red as well. Get my camera in a better place next week. I'm kind of painting side saddle at the moment. Making my shoulder ache a little bit, but we're managed. We're push on. We're push on. I don't want to make the camera go all wobbly because I hate that. Okay, so just a back of his leg there. So we're going to pick that out in the lighter red. And we could do so different colours. Let's use a bit of colour in these guys, shall we? So I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry, guys. My favourite, we're doing a quarter, so we'll give him a red and yellowy smock with a line on it, I think. So I like that. So we're just gonna there's one on the website like this. Yeah, it's kind of I'd usually be sat right behind where my hand is, but I'd usually sit here, but I'm sat over here at the moment. It's like the camera's right in the space where my face would be. Schoolboy error. Yes, I don't advise it, in fairness. I always get yourself in a nice, comfy painting position, not a. Don't do what I'm doing, don't make yourself in an uncomfortable painting position. Because that's just silly. Again, I'm using plenty of that medium. It's getting quite thin. Don't mind if a bit of that grey shows through, that's cool. You just want this stuff really, where it's done thin, to almost sit into the grooves a bit like a wash. You can see how shiny it is. That's how much medium's in this at the moment. It's quite thin, this paint. Okay. So next, do a little bit more before we do the washes. We're done with blue next, so we're going to go with Imperial Navy. And we're going to water it down with some nice matte medium. Yeah, last week's ones, the archers, wasn't it, last week? Yeah, on the Saturday morning, before I photographized them, I just did sort of another half an hour kind of paint on them, just to add a few washes and stuff. I'll show you in a sec, because they're over by the light box. That's what it sounds is. I try and paint like we do on a Friday. So if you painted the same, then you got the option of taking it further. So obviously there's a limited amount of time that we spend on Friday. So it's about getting it to a nice open-ended conclusion for our video. I thought it might be worth having a quick look at. I can sort of point out some of the stuff I added on to. The other thing as well is some of the, I've noticed is I think the painting develops when the lacquer's put on as well. So I notice sometimes I'll paint something, I won't be 100% happy with it, and then I lacquer it and I think, there we go. So I think over the years I've kind of got used to painting a certain way, and then the lacquer does that last little bit. When it gets a bit warmer and lighter, I'll have to do a quick airbrush, basic airbrush video. I've got to kind of work out how to do separate audio, obviously, because you're not going to hear what I'm saying. That I think I was on and off airbrushes for a long time. I couldn't see the point. I like undercoating with rattle cans, blah blah blah. But if you just got an airbrush just to do your undercoating and just to do your lacquering, you soon make your money back. I think buying cheap is the way, I think, as well. Get yourself a nice hairbrush once you know what you're going to do with it, because you might not need an expensive one. I use my cheap airbrush every single day, and I'll use my expensive one once in a blue moon. On jump back to the red for that bit. Looking cool already. So now I'm going to do another guy who's got blue level work, straps and lack. There we go. And dog snoring. Everything in the world is right. Look on this blue. We're going to deal with the gun metal. That's all the strapping this guy's got. Yep. Give that a quick wash. Right. So let's dark tone. That quick shaky. So what have we been painting today? I shall tell you. What have I been painting today? Oh, I was going to have a look at those archers, weren't I? These were last week's archers. So as you see, I was quite happy with everything. I don't think I did much to that one. Let's put him back over out of the way. I think I'll put a little bit of red onto his kind of balaclava thing. But you see how that matte lacquer's really blended it all in. Again, I think I put some extra washes on. I know I did something. I was trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah. So it's on the. You see on the red there, I've done like a slight highlight on there. lighter red, and then of course the matte has blended it back. And I did the same on there. Padded. You see, I've done a highlight. You can see it with slightly lighter areas. It's a bit hard to tell on that light. But I didn't do that on the video. I came back and did it, so I thought it was only honest. So yeah, they're all ready to go. So next we're going to grab the dark tone, which is a black wash. So I've got my mixed up one over there, but I'm going to use this one because I like it because it's quite dark one. And we're going to grab a bit medium into our brush. Get quite a bit of it in there. Yeah, I was say there was I've done a little bit more work than I usually did, and I thought it was just worth mentioning. It was like what I aim to do in these videos is to get to a certain point. So say it's tabletop ready, it's technically done. So anything you do over that is just going to bring extra little results. So worth doing. Yeah, that's what these archers are. These front rank miniatures, I can't get over it. It's when you get a decent miniature put in front of you, it almost, I mean, well, it's an hour we've been going so far, look, and that's how our miniature's looking. And we're doing 6 of them, so, you know, we're looking at 10 minutes per miniature at the moment, aren't we? If you divide it out like that. So, right, we're going to do a bit more work yet, but you can see where they're heading. And having a really nice miniature to work with. It's that old saying, isn't it? They almost paint themselves, you know? And today I have been doing a little commission of Judge Dredd. That's cool. These are the Mongoose edition ones, the old Warlord Games did them in metal. So sort of the middle ones, as it were. I'll grab them on camera once we got this wash on, because they're waiting over by my right hand side to go into the... Yeah, you're absolutely spot on with that. It's the sculptor's done all the work for you, hasn't he? I love the chainmail over his feet. It just... And again, cut out the packet. Must have been about a couple of minutes prep work. There was no real... There's a couple of... I missed one of the mold lines there. Look. But in fairness, on the armour, you're not going to... There's none in real obvious places anyway. But yeah, all the weapons, they're all one-piece cast. So it's literally out the packet, a couple of trims, and then stick them down. So I didn't really... I could have been a bit fussy. It's like that. There's a bit of a mold line there. I could have been a bit fussier, but I tend to think we're looking at these under the microscope at the moment, aren't we? When we put them on the table and they're 3 foot away, that's be a pretty significant mould line to be picked out from 3 feet away. I'm not too worried if we get a little bit on the red. It's so we're gonna. That's only our base red. Now you can see with this putting this dark tone on, it's starting to matte the metal up. So we're going to be able to pick out the bits we want to be shiny. We don't have to go crazy about doing it. And of course, when we hit the matte lacquer over it, it will take some bit back out as well. So it's kind of juggling between 10 and 11. Let's have a look how these. Do you see? I really like this army painter wash. It's really good. Yeah, so we played around with the wash last week. If it's you put a bit of too much on one area, don't panic. Just go to another area. Use the bit up on your brush. When your brush is empty, go back. You can have plenty of time, especially this weather. Unless you've got the old central heating on full blast. Okay, it's really getting in there. That's going to dry really, really dark, that one. Don't want it to look so dark. Add a bit of medium to your wash because it is this dark tone very strong. If you're used to using Nuln oil, you probably need a little bit of medium in it. Whenever I get any of the new Nuln oil, I run out of this and had to buy some Nuln oil. I had to put some black ink in it. It just wasn't. That's the other thing with medium. If you wanted to, if you get yourself a set of inks, you can actually make your own washes. I did that for a while, but it's time consuming. But if you're only doing a few minutes, it's not so bad. So as I've thinned everything with the medium, I will do another video, Rich, how to use your mediums to make washes. I think I did say I was going to do that, didn't I? I did a short video of it. Sorry if I'm a bit over the right hand side today. That's where I'm sitting. If I hadn't mentioned it before. We've got a bit of black down that eye slit. We have to deal with that. That's going to wreck our flesh tone. You see, I let the brush empty, and then you get in there and you wick it away. There we go. Sorted. Just move this around them a little bit. It's a little bit dark. All I did is put a bit of medium on my brush. And come back round it. Okay. Well, last drying, we shall get our brown. This is a mixture. I keep it in a big pot. Whenever I've got the oak brown out and I put too much in, I put some in there and I mix it with some medium. Let's use this brush because it's quite crappy, but I'll put it on now so it can start drying out. This is why we like the neutral. We said it a million times, yes. I thin this brown, this oak brown outlet, so it's almost like a water. So when we go into this pumice, that neutral pumice sits on top, and this dries in the underneath bit, and well, hey, we've got instant highlights. Oh no, the dog is cleaning his feet. I hope you can't hear that on the camera. It sounds like a large slavering troll. That's one of our favourite D&D jokes, that is. I think I've said this on it before. So you if you played D&D back in the good old days of the old modules written by Gary Gygax and the etc. I can't remember what module it was. Maybe an AD&D one. But you go. One of the descriptions for the room is you enter the room. There is a small 20 by 20 room. There is books on the bookshelves. Blah blah blah. Over in the corner, there's a small gem under a dusty table full of books, and in the corner is a large slavering troll. Well, it just struck us as funny. We all started laughing straight away. So we walked into a room, and you notice a small red gem under the table before you you spot the large slavering troll in a 20 by 20 room. I might have got that, but you got the score. A large, keep on the borderlands, the caves of chaos, the village of Homley. A large slavering troll. I just love the way of the description that you'd always get the description of the room, even with sometimes a delicately placed, ornate golden dagger and a beholder. A large red dragon. Yes. I think that's what, yeah. That's nail on the head there. I think sometimes people forget games are supposed to be fun. It's like the original one, Caves of Chaos, isn't it? It's like, why didn't the bugbears eat the goblins, and why didn't the goblins kill the kobolds? And this is like a dungeon keeper thing, isn't it? This ecosystem within the dungeon. Let's all stay in our own rooms, chaps. Let's not let's not let this get out of hand. Oh, I was going to show you the Judge Dredd miniatures, wasn't I? Oh, so there we go. These are the old mongoose Brit Sit judges. Brit Sit, yeah. I thought I'd swore for a minute then. They're a bit taller than the Citadel ones. Old Psyker. I'd say they're a little bit shiny because they've not been lacquered yet. They're quite good. And then you had a detective. Last two. I don't think they're the best 2000 AD sculpts of paint. I've painted a few of these lately. I'll say they're the Mongoose edition ones. I think they're a bit taller than the Citadel, but not quite as tall as the new ones, and also they're chunkier than the new ones. The Temple of Elemental Evil. Died many times in the Temple of Elemental Evil. Because it was evil. I'm going to go for some red wash now. We're just getting the washes on board. Let me get some more colours in there. And the dog woke up, cleaned his feet, and is now snoring again. Okay. Not going over the top with the red because I don't want it to run into any other areas. Okay. And this is where we went quite thin on that base red. This is going to strengthen up our our valleys. Peaks and valleys, wasn't it, we were calling them? Next, we're going to go. Let's get some green on board, shall we? Let's start with green skin. Let's start with quite a bright one. I think I'll do some of the pole arms in colour as well. That's always good fun. Let's get rid of that brush. Get back onto one that's got a point on it. Yeah, because the War of the Roses, you can use a bit of colour. So I'm going to try and get down to Farley Hungerford Castle as soon as the weather breaks a little bit. I'm sure it'd be okay to go live if I get a signal there, because it's tricky. If not, I'll shoot a video. I'm sure I'll be all right. I'll ask, or I might just do it and hope it's okay. Let's do. I can't remember if it's English Heritage or I think it's English Heritage. Sometimes they get a bit funny, don't they? Let's do this polar in this green. Just add in touches of medium just to keep this flowing, because it does cover better when it's thinned a little bit. You can also paint the helmets. Do half and half and what have you. That always looks cool. You can make that decision right at the end if you wanted to, and just go straight over to the silver. You can cover that gunmetal very easy. It does lend itself to be overpainted. Sorry about the focusing there. I think it's picking up the other. But it was the only angle I could get the mini at, so I could paint the shaft without catching that bit of metal going either side. Do you know what I mean? Think you do? Think you do? I've done his leather blue. He's got red. He best have green, isn't he? Going a bit squiffy then, because there was a little bit of damp wash there. So be careful of that. Or if you're not rushing at home, you can sort of put that sometimes I'll make sure if I'm going to take the dog out, I kind of do loads and loads of washes and just bugger off. And when I come back, it's nice and dry. But I can't really do that at the moment because you guys would get a little bit bored if I just went out for a walk. Let's tidy that up a bit. There we go. If you do make a splodgy mess, let it dry, then go back to it. If you can't correct it at that point, you just leave alone and go and sort it out. Sometimes you can sort stuff out, but don't be the instinct is to dive straight in there quick and sort it out, which you can't. It does get away with most times, but if something's just a wet mess, you just got to kind of just leave it. I mean, because this is really an era of real sort of can I look cooler on you? You know what I mean? You see that armor's, that metal's starting to look real nice with that black on it now. And because we can see these straps now, we just sort of really just pick them out. So this is the green skin, so I've started like halfway up the triad with this one. So that kind of bright green look. We've got one green pole arm. We've got 3 pole arms anyway, so well, they've got 2 green swords there, so we won't do another green. We can introduce some other more colours yet, so next we're going to run a little bit of blue tone. This blue we use is quite dark, so there won't be a massive effect by using this, but it'll be noticeable, so be worth doing. It's going to give us a bit of nice shadowing. Let's get it on there whilst we can. There we go. And he's got some blue. Oh, this guy, his armor's gone great. Look at that. Such a simple technique as well. We've hardly had to work. That's just a gimme, innit? Okay, so we need that red drive a little bit more now. Okay, we're going to go with a brain matter beige now. And lay down some white so we can do some other stuff a bit later on. You need, nope, it doesn't need there. It doesn't need it. We don't need that brush, we need the nice one. So we're going to put it down. The half of his poleaxe. The medium going into that. A bit more medium out. I think because we've got so much metal on these, is when you do colour, it's gonna, no matter what you do, it's gonna look bright. So I say embrace the brightness. You can always tone it down at the end if you don't like it, but the colours would have been vibrant. Unless you want to go for that. These guys were mega rich. These suits of armor, their gear, it was all top end. I'm gonna say, look at me, I'm the greatest. Okay. That's all right. And we'll do this one. Is we're getting to I don't always do this because I quite like the metal look, but every so often one just shouts at me, Paint, go on, paint my lid. Let's see, it's a bit sketchy because that white is ever so thin. It's a really good opportunity just to get. I'm just putting this so I can choose what colour. I was thinking about using some nice yellows, so. Although this Fanatic paint, you can just use the darkish yellow and build up from there. Oh wow, yeah, he's good, isn't he? You have many books, wise Mohican man. See, that was good. At an early age, you vented your brain, mate. you've you've improved your IQ no end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some fantastic books out there of some really great coloured plates, and this is a great opportunity for people. That what I think about this Age of Chivalry is it's. Well, it worked. Whatever you did. Yeah, Age of Chivalry gives you can get such great effects with minimal kind of effort. You know what I mean? And it's just for painters, it's just well, gamers alike, I suppose. It's just a delicious era to be painting in. Because you've got so much. There's so many books and so much reference stuff. Just thinning that white out so we can. I'm going to go green and yellow on this guy, I think. Because I want it to look like. I want it to look like a cheese and onion crisp. Green and yellow, isn't it? The traditional. Or do you go Walker's blue? If Walker's green, I don't know. Other crisps are available. Smith crisps, were they blue? No, Walker's were blue, weren't they? Golden Wonder. Yeah, they were green, weren't they? The cheese onions there. Smith's crisp with the blue bag. A blue bag of salt. They still do those blue bags. Not seen them for a while. Okay, whilst we've got that white out, we're gonna deal with some eyeballs. It's very. I think you're. I can't disagree. You're just hitting the nail on the head tonight, Mr. Clonk. Oh, stop it, Rich. You don't. You're not that. 2p. I remember Monster Munch and Space Raiders being 5p. Space Raiders. Monster Munch roast beef when it first came out. All the banned flavorings and colour. Oh, they don't taste as good anymore. Yeah, because they've banned all the flavorings that gave you cancer. But they tasted nice. Okay, we're gonna drop some eyeballs in, I think, using that yep. I just remember a big thing about it. So when Monster Munch was brought back, it went out, didn't it, for ages and ages and ages, and they brought roast beef back, and no one liked them anymore. I remember I was working for Dewhurst then, and it was because they changed all the flavour glazes as well. When we went to the EU, most of the beef flavourings we used were banned because they were not very good for you. Monster Munch, Space Raiders, with a nice wagon wheel that was the size of an actual wagon wheel. God, I've got snacks going from my head now. The old snacks. Trio. Do you remember Trio? Trio. They were nice. The trios were very nice, yeah. Trying to think of some of the other snacks we used to really, really like. Frazzles. It's probably when my bacon addiction started. Smoky bacon flavored golden. Oh, yeah. Golden Wonder smoky bacon flavor. I think most of them were. But if you were given a bag now, I bet you'd still eat them. Oh, I hated custard at school. I was put off custard by school. Our school. Oh, man. I was put off plum tomatoes as well. Because they used to mix the tomatoes with the baked beans to make people eat them, and it just made the baked beans taste horrible. I almost swore then. That got me angry. I got angried up then because I'm a big baked bean fan. There we go, look. Don't know if we can get that on camera. There we go. Oh, yeah, some of the... Oh. School dinners were proper nasty, weren't they? Mashed potatoes served with a ice cream scoop. And it like just formed into this horrible blob. So I like a nice bit of liver, Rich, but school liver is just with just some. Well, if Steve McQueen would have seen it, he would have attacked it, wouldn't he? That'd have been a new film. Steve McQueen saw something like that. It was pretty nasty. I was trying to think of the nastiest thing. There was like every so often they brought chicken out, and it was like in a oniony, insipid. There was no colour on the chicken at all. I remember it was in like this gravy that was almost like a see-through gravy of onion. Yeah, liver and onions and bacon. Mm. Yeah, I say I'm getting hungry and hungry and hungry, and it's like this is a painting program. We're now talking about school dinners. That's what I love. Love it. It's been a little while since we went off topic, isn't it? I think the last off topic was probably something to do with Monty Python. That usually sends it off on a tangent. There we go. So when you're looking through the I don't know how good Andy's photography was when I dropped the miniatures off for the book and the boxes. I actually on the men at arms, if you look in the eye slits on the ones on the photographs, I painted all the eyeballs in. And when I delivered them, he was a bit surprised, but hey ho. Right, so let's start dealing with the yellows. I'm going to start with Fiendish Yellow, which is an orangey yellow. Oh, I was going to make Mr. Cheese and Onion, wasn't I? There we go. So now we'll just do this. Do straps in yellow as well. Yeah, I think. Are you at the next sword point? Are you, Rich? In Is it February? You've got a sword point. I know you. It's saga you do, isn't it? Not sword point. Have we done sword point? I was trying to remember what era it was, because I think the last one was chariots. I think. Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, I saw it pop up on the website earlier, and I didn't take much notice which one it was. I usually pop along and have a natter with Martin and what have you. I think I'm gonna do the other half of his helm in green, pretty much just because I can, and go for the full cheese and onion. They weren't sure because it was it's changing venue again, I think, isn't it? I know they weren't very happy at the venue last year. It's a bit of a weird venue. I got shoved right next to a dustbin. I spent more time selling the Griffin Beast stuff than my stuff. I only had a little table anyway, so. Yeah, I thought so. I got there in the morning. They'd saved the beasties had saved me a table, and somebody had gone by and pinched it and put my gear on the floor, which was a bit off. Oh well. Okay. I did. I painted all that jugular stuff. I painted every single jugular miniature up, and I was just sending people to the stand to buy jerky. You're right. I told him I I made enough from a fuel being there and stuff, so it wasn't too bad. And I got to muck around with Darren all day, which was quite funny. Okay, let's start highlighting that blue up. Let's crack on because we're coming up to 2 hours and I've been nattering a lot. So we're going to go Regal Blue. I meant to pick up some jugular oars. I had some on my stall and I sold them all. And I meant to have got myself a copy and I'd sold them all. When I first got it, had a go and a demo game of it, I wasn't too keen on it. I didn't quite get it because it's card driven, and I thought, well, it was like playing two separate games. There was a bit of a detach for me between the cards and the actual game itself. At the time, I was just looking for just an out-and-out gladiator game. But Andy was talking to me about it, and the actual real game is running the gladiator school. And after reading a bit of it, sat on the stall, I can get it. I got it, if you know what I mean. Whereas when it was demoed to us, we just played the game rather than read the rules, if you know what I mean. So I missed the best part of the game is the campaigny side of it, which you wouldn't expect for a sort of one booklet game to be so strong in that place, if you know what I mean. But it is, which is cool. So we're just starting the highlights. So we leave that bit up there dark, and we leave underneath dark. Well, there's a bit of whitey there, so we're gonna go around the top of that strap there. Top of that strap. There we go. That's cool. I was thinking about doing yellow, but I'm gonna do something else in a minute. So next we're gonna go red. So we went Abomination Gore, which can swap out for Basilisk Red if you want to sort of you get a very similar thing if you layer them up. Going for Dragon Red. I'm going to start highlighting. So this is where we go peaks and valleys. So I'm going to look to paint down all the peaks like I just did on the blue. Bit medium in my brush. And we're going to go all the peaks, none of the valley. Anywhere where there's a fold, we're going to leave it dark. There we go. It's that simple. So on here, we're going to look where the sun's going to hit from the top. So that's going to be red. The valley's going to be dark. The edge is going to be red. The valley's going to be dark. Those that don't know, that we're calling the peaks these higher bits. And the valleys are the dips where our wash is sitting. Well, it looks like I just painted it all, didn't it? But I didn't. I only painted the top bits. And here, I'm going to paint the top edge. And we're going to leave the valleys. From here, on his shoulder there, so it's going to be there's going to be a bit of a shadow where that helmet is. So we don't want to go right under there. So we're going to start there. And we're going to go across the top of his shoulder. And then as it goes down, we're going to let it drift off. So it's just like inside of there. We're going to leave that bit dark there. And again, we're going to pick up there, looking where the light's going to catch. His sleeve's going to cause a bit of a shadow there, so we're not going to touch in there. On his top of his shoulder, we're going to go peak, peak, peak. There's a valley there we're going to leave. On this edge, we're going to go along the edge. We're not going to go behind that armor there because there'd be a shadow in there. And if you look, that's upwardly facing, so you can go quite heavy. But as it goes down, that's all going to be shadow in there. And that's going to throw a shadow into there. So that's a peak and valley. That all makes sense? Good. And then we go around till it's all dry. And we do it again. But this time we go inside of where we've done it before. So it's going to be a stronger red. And we're staying away completely from the valleys. There we go. Hope that stayed in focus now. I saw the focus shift. Right, so it's here. We're going to go down high bit. Down the high bit, onto the edge, down the high bit. And we're not doing any of the other half because it's got some shadow from his body. Then it's one. Touch, touch on the top. Nothing in the valley. And then just a little bit there, not going close to his body because of the shadow. There we go. Just go around. This is the same colour, remember? We're just building up a nice colour value. Okay, there. Just across the top of his shoulder there. Just where the light's going to hit it. This is fun if you've got time to do it with really thin paints and just practice your glazing. It's really kind of cool. You have to thin your paints. The longer you do this for, and the more different shades of the same color you use, the better that it's going to be. But it's just having that extra time. Being sad, that red and blue looks nice. Look. And there's no big jumps from dark blue to light blue. They're a nice progression. So let's just go do the other red. Just because the straps, we're not going to worry too much. We're going to hit the ones that the light's going to catch. So it's going to be the edge of that. And go across. There we go. Good. Make sure you shake them properly though, Kubler. They and a bit of medium in them, they work even better. Yeah, if you use them straight out of the pot, I think some of them are a little thick. But bit of medium in there, or definitely onto a wet palette. But I think thinning them's the the tan and ochre set. I know which ones you mean. That's the Yeah, Tundra Top. What a great colour that is. And the yellows all work really well as like the lighter pine woods, and you can use the lighter ones for like blonde hair as well if you thin them out. I really like that set. You picked a good one there. And we're just laying this red across the top edges of these straps. Just starting to build our highlight. Probably one pass is okay for the straps because they're straps. So this one, now, we're going to have to do some nice, this is a big flat area, you have to be a bit careful. So we need to stick to our valley and peak bit here. But we have to remember that where his arms are, you can see it's throwing a shadow. So come down, and this bottom part is going to be redder than the top part because of that shadow. So we don't want to go up under that arm. Let's work it down here. But we've got to leave, there's not many valleys because it's a flat area. The browns are really good in the, well, let's have a good brown range. I like the, just the browns that start brigadine brown. They're really good for your leathers. Is that TT Combat paints? I've not played. I've not tried their paints. To be honest, no, I've got a friend that uses them. Like I say, it's very nowadays. It's very all the paints are out there on the market are good. You know what I mean? It's not like back in the day where there's some like dodgy paints around, isn't there? But now I think anyone that sells paints wants to repeat customs. They're all decent. I'm not one of these painters that has to have the. Even though I only stick mainly to army painter, I won't ever say anything nasty about the other paints. I think some painters feel they have to be. It can't be their favourite, and everything else has to be rubbish. I don't think that's the case at all. They're literally the only reason I go to, if not only said before, I went to a single manufacturer because I go through so many paints, and also in my old setup I had Games Workshop paints and Vallejo and AK Interactive and God, all sorts. Any paint that took my fancy, I'd buy, which works. But when somebody contacts me and says, "Oh, you painted some Space Marines for me, and you used their red ones," I was thinking, did I use Citadel? Did I use Army paint? Which ones did I use? So I'm a bugger for not writing it down. Say a couple of my mates, they write all their recipes down. I don't, but I know if now because I'm all army painter, if you sent me some red Space Marines, some Blood Angels, I know I've used these paints because they're the only ones I've got. So I know. Consistency, I think, are the words I'm looking for. So when somebody sends me some more of some English Civil War stuff, I know it's the right coloured red because that's the only reds I've got. So, right, the next blue, our blue highlight is going to be royal blue. I do like these. How they've done the 6, like the double triad thing. That makes my job really easy. So again, now we're just looking at our highlights. So we're looking at our areas that will just catch the highest bit of the light. That's along this bottom edge, really. And across the top edge bit. It's around there. I've left a bit of a gap from the top because of where the helmet is. So it's roughly going to look brightest across that area there. Think about it. It's going to be lightest on top. A little bit there. Okay, going onto his back there, it's going to be that ridge across his shoulder there. It's going to catch a bit of light after the helmet. And then coming down, but once it gets to that fold in his armour, it's not going to go around the corner, so we'll leave it there. And then we're just going to go to that top bit. Say leave the valleys. Bit across the top there, bottom there, sorry. And this butt bit is going to be where his butt sticks out there. And a bit along the edge there. Okay. So you've got some nice smooth blends in there. You didn't think that was different paints at all, which is what you're looking for. And we go back to this blue here. We're just going to run an edge highlight. We're going to go down there. And we're just going to get a little bit across. I've not gone all the way across, so I'm leaving that bottom edge darker. I'm leaving the dark shadow there. And then we're just going to go around the belt, and we're not going to paint all across it. We're just going to pick the bits to catch a little bit. So little straps there, just a little touch there. If you break it up, a little touch off, a little touch off, it works better. If you went right across, sorry about the focus there, if you went right across the top, it doesn't kind of work. Leaving the little gaps leaves a little bit more contrast in it. Okay, so green, we only done one green so far. We used green skin, so we're going to go Eternal Hunt. Notice I did pronounce that very carefully. Again, we're looking at these top edges. I'm not going to muck around with the greens because they're quite white, sort of these. So we're just going to come along the edge just to highlight that out a bit, because we've put a wash on it. So oh, two thin coats. I get you. Yeah. How do you think it compares to the army painter? because I found using them very similar actually. I only had a quick go with somebody else's paints. I'm just going to edge highlight some of this green out with the lighter green. There we go. Yeah, because I think they both work best thinned. No one speaks about thinning paint more than Duncan. Again, I'm just going to go across the top there, just brighten that green out. So what I did there is I've done a bit round the rim where the kink is. I've left it the other colour. And around the bottom there, we'll give it a little highlight as well. That's good. So now, one of my favourite ones is Mouldy Wine. This is a favourite colour for doing the grips of the swords with, because it just looks wicked. Can't see his. He's gone two-handed, you can't see his. Cool. Yeah, I found yeah, that's what I thought. The two thin coats ones were almost like the army painter stuff with the medium in it already. And that's why I've always tended, even like the last ones of the war paints ones, I tended to put a lot of, I thought they worked very well, but then again I always put a lot of medium in them, so I just think that's a great colour for the sword grips. Yeah, my friend bought the he did the Kickstarter with the two thin coats, and he just loved them to bits. Yeah. Next, we're going to get the gold. Good old greedy gold. Just want to focus on my greedy gold. Like, there we go, greedy gold. Right, so we're just going to, some of these are just going to get a little touch of gold here and there just to make things kick. So stuff like the odd rivet like that just changes stuff, you know. Mm. Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to go all in, I think you're right. It's like I got the whole when they released the Fanatic stuff. I bought the entire range because I knew I would anyway, and they were only doing it at release. That was it. So I thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. So I'd have bought most of them all separate, and that becomes a hassle. So them arriving in one big massive box. Seemed to be the way forward for me, but I knew I was going to use it anyway, so what I'm doing now is I'm picking out some areas with a dab of gold in there. Like that. Not too much, just a little bit. No, this guy, not so much. I'm going to leave him fairly standard. That's good about it. You can sort of just juggle in and out, and just looking at yeah, let's do his pauldrons. Is that the? I'm trying to think of the word. That's why I went all quiet. I think it's pauldron, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think he needs much more than that. Sometimes it's like just little touches. What it does is it pulls the eye to that part and makes you look around the mini. So sometimes just doing a little bit, little. Sometimes if you put lots on there and you make it really, really busy, it's too busy for your eye. So you can't focus on anything. So if you compare this guy with the last guy, I'll lift them both up to the camera at the moment, show what I mean. So this guy, because of the bright colours on him, it makes him very busy. So your eye wants to look around the model, whereas this one, you get dragged straight into the model. Yeah, they've all got. All got special names, haven't they? Which, well, They'd have had to have names, didn't they? Burr. Fetch me my thingamabobby. Quick, squire. My thingy-me-bobby has fallen off. I need a new thingamabob jobby. Yeah, it doesn't work like that, does it? That's enough gold. Gold is less is more. So what else does he need doing? He needs, we've got to do our shiny bits on our metal. So we're going to go back in with shining silver. Yes, true. Very true. Rich will have a book on it, won't you, mate? So, with our silver, what we want to do is, again, look for shiny areas. So it's the top of his swordlet, and then just zip across that top edge. So I've gone back to the crappy brush, and it's going to be a bit on the top. What I'm doing is it's not dry brushing, it's more like an over brush, but so I'm going ever so lightly, just touching down in certain areas that I want, that, or edges that I think will catch the light. So you get that. Look how shiny that looks. Whereas if I painted it all silver, it just wouldn't do the same. It's like the tips of his fingers there, catching top of his knee. It's a bit like doing the flesh. Do you know what I mean? When we're doing that top highlight flesh, looking for areas that are upwardly facing. And as it gets a bit dry, that's the time to just do a little quick dry brush over some rivets or something. That makes sense. Just work around it. Again, less is more here, so we don't want to undo all our work by just painting it bright silver. But me working around it slowly there, I hope you can just see how it's shining. And when, of course, when I go back over with the lacquer, that will kill some of that, which is what we want. So taking it to 11, as Kenny Boucher will say, going to 11, coming back to 10. So the top of his sword, we're going to edge highlight that up. Then we're going to let the sword go a bit shiny at the top edge. So that's where it's going to catch the sun. And we're going to do it across the top of his helm. And little side bits. Then those panels across his face. Top of his armlet. So I'm starting off with a little bit of paint in the brush, then I'm almost letting it get to a dry brush, you know. So just load a little bit in there. So I'm going very lightly at the start. It's like know that the most of the silver's gone out of the brush, then you can go a bit heavier. But if you're kind of putting it into the right place anyway, it doesn't, you're not going to go too far wrong. There we go. He looks, some of these look like stepped up off the set of that Merlin film where they had all the shiny armor. I say it will tone down again when I matte lacquer it. and it will tone down a little bit as it dries, because remember, this is a very light silver. But I'm also looking for those edges again. You know, we were talking about peaks and troughs. It's the same on the armor. So I'm using the edge of this brush to kind of over brush. I hope you can see this on the camera, because I do love this bit where it goes all shiny. This is what I said earlier, where we're working hard and we've painted up, and then rather than dry brushed straight away, if you know what I mean. Because I'm choosing now where I want my fake shine. So have a good look at that one. Let's grab that one. Hope you can see the difference. I can. Hopefully you will when I put these into the light box. Let's see. I always start with the sword because I'm using most of the silver across out the brush on that one. So that underneath's got no silver on it. The top edge has got silver. It's about being light-handed here. So when this brush is first on there, first wet, you got to go really lightly. Just let it touch down. Little areas. I'm not just trying to paint it all silver, even though it looks like, it probably looks like on camera I am. I'm actually letting it sort of dot the brush. I'm working it quite lightly. I'm touching down ever so lightly. If you're unsure, take some more paint out of the brush and do a little dry brushing, do it dry brush style, but only do little areas at a time rather than all over. Just concentrate on little areas, pick out where you want your dry brush to fall. You know, I'm looking at the top edge of the weapon. I'm working away with the silver, trying to catch a lot of the upward facing edges on this guy. This has gone into a dry brush now because it's which will work just as well because we've put that work in at the start with our wash. There we go. And last one, what are we doing? 2 hours 36 minutes. Not bad, is it? 2 hours 40. 6 miniatures we've been on. We're most of the way there. I'm sorry, I was completely out of focus then. Sorry, guys. And I know it's not supposed to be shiny, but it does shine when the sun hits it. So, no, 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 no. And then my miniatures are going to be all grown up about it and say, no, 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 no. Be bloody boring if you didn't do kind of cool Hollywood stuff every so often. Try and make it look like metal. Our logical brains say metal shiny. I don't want it really shiny. It's not chrome, is it? But... right, let's see where we're going now. Right, this guy. This guy is done. We don't need any more highlights on his stuff. He's highlighted fine, so I'd say he's done. Again, I think he's done. You could probably go back in with a bit of dark green wash. Just dull that off a little bit. This guy, we've got to do all his pole arm. This guy, so we haven't washed the gold. So let's wash the gold first. Let's do that first. I'm using my Reichland Flesh Shade mixed with Army Paint Flesh Shade. I'm just gonna get some of this. Be brave. Because the trouble is we don't want it hitting that silver. So let it sit as much of it onto the gold as you possibly can dare. And if a little bit goes round the bolts, that's all right. It just make it look a little bit rusty in there, a little bit worn. That's cool. And I won't go back in and highlight that back out on these because it's only a little tiny bit. So we'll leave them as is. Let's show you on these. So we're just going to put that on there. That's it. When that dries, it's going to take it down a few tones. Make it look funky. That's good. So those three could go over there to dry. Let this go over that mouldy wine hand grip. He needs a little bit more work on the yellow as well, this guy. And he needs a little bit more work as well. So it's just these three to finish. So halfway, well, on halfway. Three have completely finished. Three just need a little bit more work. He just needs his pole arm doing. Let's do this yellow. So now we're going to go to demonic yellow. Even though it looks really, really bright under this light, it actually looks quite dark. What is a nice effect? If you can get hold of one, grab yourself a Cassandra yellow. The War Paints orange is just a little bit darker orange than this. For just going on top of yellow, the Cassandra yellow is better. But if you want that orange, real orangey feel, the other one's better. So we're just going to lay this on our yellow just to take it down a tad. It will stop it glowing because it's going to put some orange into it. Let that dry. It's quite good over the top of reds as well. You get that really rich orange look. But I've made some glazes up. I'll have to put a recipe for the glazes up. Because if you really want to make stuff glow, glazing is the way. Okay. I'm going to show you this. This would be cool. Let's put a... Let's go with a dark brown. Shall we have brigadine brown, which is nice dark brown, kind of blacky brown. I'm going to grab my insane detail, which is the next one up from Psycho, and I'm just going to lay a V into that red. So just thin that brown down a bit. Let's try and get more on camera for you. I'll never be upside down at the moment. Sorry, just gonna. I painted on the dot at the top to give myself a point to aim for. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to thicken that out. I've got the thickness I want. I'm going for about 2 brush widths. Oh, sorry guys. I will remember to get the camera in the right place next week. Promise. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do the same at the back. So you're going to put a dot in to our high point, and then we're going to do a dot for roughly where our V is going. And just join those babies up. And then same this side. It's all about locking your hand off. Do you see my hand was hardly moving then? It was only my fingers that moved. And at no point did they leave my arm. That's what they say, the old magician said. Please note, at no point did my hands leave my arms. And we're just using the same technique to thicken that line nicely out. There we go. That's it. We're going to leave that line to dry for a minute. Cool. That yellow's gone nice now, like that. And we're going to put the lid on the insane brush for a moment, where we deal with the demonic yellow highlight. That's why I already had some on the pad from earlier when I did the dread heads. Again, we're going to just come down the edge highlight that scabbard, a little bit into the body, highlight those crossy bits out. Bit across the top of his straps, top edge of the dagger. I'm just thinning that out with medium again. Again, we're going to go around, trying to stay this side, so I don't want any of that yellow touching the green. I want that bit going around like the crest of the helm. And then when you come inside it, leave where it kind of dints in. I'm going to paint alongside that, and we're just going to feather it out a bit. And then we're going to paint around around the edge of the bowl. And just pick out those rivets. There we go. Now, Mr. Cheese and Onion Head is done. So it's just these two guys now. Oh, that's why I painted his. Why I painted his white, as I was just going to run the yellow down. Give me a yellow thing, but I think I'll do it the other. I'll do it with the dark yellow and the wash. So let's get that on board. Just want to give a nice contrast to the red straps. There we go. Just keeping it real, keeping it thinned out. These yellows have got really, really good coverage, so especially where I've put the white underneath it. So leave that to dry for a moment. Now brown should be dry now, so now what we're going to do, we go back to our insane detail brush. I'm going to go back into our Brain Matter Beige, which we've had loafing around on our wet palette. Right, now I'm going to paint a white stripe down the center of our brown one. Don't try and do it all in one go. Don't go over and over one area. You just disturb the paint there. So we're just going to work across and back. Stay nice and thin, because I can go back and thicken it up. Sometimes you need to hold the mini at a different angle to get. Don't force it. If it doesn't feel right and you don't think you're going to be able to get it there, just move around until you can find the right space to be in. Now we go back, reload up with white. Now we go work down the same lines again. We just want to get a bit closer to the edge of the brown one. So we're going to leave less and less brown, so it's going to end up like a little outline. But because we've already been down it once, now we can work it. Just tip of that brush. There we go. What you can do is make the brown line a little bit wider if you wanted to. So you can have that white line a bit thicker. You can even do like a beigey white line and then highlight it out with the pure white, but that's a lot of faffing. Look good though. Just keep working that line. So you're happy. Worst can happen is you have to go back over the brown and start again. But if that's the case, so be it. It's all good practice. There we go. So that's this tabard done. So now we're going to drop. Where's our yellow? Brush isn't very clean now. These little brushes, you must make sure they're clean. If you, there's the tip. If you let something dry on them, they're knackered straight away. So I'm gonna get our yellow, get our wash brush back, and we're just gonna lay that orange wash down there. I think that's going to be bright enough without going into the yellow highlight as well. See how it's gone over some of that silver now. I'm going to wash the brush out. I'm just going to wash the wash off the metal. Just, can you see it up there? There we go. I'm going to call him done as well. So just Mr. Artiste Tabard. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to get the black out. I'm going to grab our insane detail brush again. Other insanity brushes are available. Right, and we're gonna, I think we're gonna do like a swirly pattern on it. So we're gonna go and do a brush thickness there. You have to sort of eyeball these. So you want to leave a brush thickness again. Try and work and Just touching the same angle. We'll not worry about the other sides for a minute because we can match them up in a sec. Remember, this black I'm using is the watered down one that I make. If you've not got one watered down, make sure you've got it on the wet palette and you're adding a medium to it. Okay, just the sides. The front bit's already made it for you. And t'other side. There we go. There'd be one just behind this, that bit of whatever it is, bit of there we go. So next we just have a look at his pole arm. Once you're happy, just eyeball these. If something doesn't look right, just once you got your brush out, it's gonna be very hard to get it perfect, but as long as it looks all right, we're all right. So we're gonna do the same thing now, going up his ball arm, like, which is a bit trickier. You have to kind of follow the spiral bit kind of as you go around. The dog's having a dream. He's going. You can hear it. So you've got a picture where the next one would be, and then when you've got that, you can then carry on up. What you can really do is look at the other one you've already done. And carry on working around. I find putting the next one in just slowly working it up. See what I mean? Keep the same angle. And just start joining them up. So that's the first one up. As you go around, just let them join up. You can kind of do them half and half if you want, and just join them round. Come out of focus then, sorry guys. I think the thing with doing stuff like this is it feels like you want to rush it, but it's going to take as long as it takes. So you just stay calm. What I'm doing now, because I've got it going up, is I'm just keeping constant distance as I wheelie around it, knowing that if it's slightly out, I can go back at the end and sort of sort it out. I've let them get a bit thinner. That's cool. We just eyeball it at the end, and anything that looks wrong, we just sort it out. There we go. So now all we need to do is go back through over our work here. Any bits that are a bit messed up, just touch in. If they're a bit thin, you can thicken them. If they're a bit wonky, you can. So from a distance, I think that's cool. Up close, it's not perfect, but from this far away, no one's going to tell. There we go. Wash the brush out, make sure none of the black dries in it. Well, this is long, 3 hours now. But 3 hours, in fairness, we've finished. We just got to paint our victory lap. In the morning, I just got to tough these babies up. So we've done all we need to do. So 3 hours, 6 miniatures. It's not bad, is it? I think these miniatures, we needed to spend a bit more time on them. I mean, we could have kicked them through in probably about 2 hours. But we've done a lot of extra shading. We've done highlighting, done a little bit of freehand. They're still nice and generic, so we can use them in I think they're good enough to get on the table, aren't they? That's what it's about. Let's get these miniatures playing Age of Chivalry. These ones will probably end up on my stall, in fairness. Along with the archers, and then it's got E-Courage miniatures to paint as well, coming up as well. It is always worth bearing in mind. He's done. Just going to paint these off, and then we'll have a quick look at what we got. As I said, as ever, I will in the morning, put some tufts on them from our friends at Gamer's Grass. Gamer's Grass? Gamer Grass. I can't remember. But they're my favourite go-to tufts at the moment. Let's just pop. Oh, that's the last one, I think. We call it the victory lap with putting the black man. Let's wash the brush up. Let's have a look at what we got. Right. So even though Easter's like a standard basic one, those couple of little bobs of colour I was saying about bringing your eyes into the miniature. Let's put them towards the back. So look at like distance. It's Mr. Cheese and Onion. Watch out, there's a Humphrey about. This has got to be the 70s, 80s snack pack. Which one's it called? Yellow. That was the Monster Munch packet. Pickled onion and roast beef. Walker's salt and vinegar. I like the helm on this one. It gives you that nice look at his face as well. And red and blue. Trio. No, they were just red, weren't they? Spangles. Oh, Spangles. They were good treats. Right. Okay. I think we'll leave that there before I start making myself hungry at too late at night. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. I know it was a long one. I think it was worth it. We got some nice little men-at-arms there for Age of Chivalry. Again, thanks for joining me. If you're watching this back tomorrow and you've not subscribed and liked, etc., if you could, that would be absolutely fantastic of you. Keep the subscriptions going. Now we're back after Christmas. What else we've got to say? Yeah, like, subscribe, share. Have a great weekend, and you too, Rich. I'm done. Hope to see you again next week. And cheers, Kubler. Right, okay. And it's goodbye from Pirate Island. See you later, shipmates. Bye now.